Are you going to live here next week? Huh? Okay, class, this is my Wednesday lecture for March 25th. And this is the second time I'm doing this because the first time it didn't save. So you know that I'm in learning a lot. Let's look. We are on A2, which is page AP13, the metric system. And remember, all of this is, all the appendix is in the back of the book. Today we're going to look at metric measure, and we're going to start out with linear measure. In linear, remember, we measure distances and lengths with that. So 1 meter equals 1,000 millimeters, which is millimeters. And you need to know that milli equals 1,000. 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. And we know that centi means 100, and then 1 kilometer, and the abbreviation for kilometer is km, equals 1,000 meters. So kilo means 1,000. Let's look. Let's say that we want, let's look on page AP12. We can write 1 kilometer per 1,000 meters, or you can write 1,000 meters per 1 kilometer. Each of us has to have an idea. We need to have an idea of how long things are. And what we're going to do is we're going to choose from the lengths kilometer, which is very long, that like you would measure distances, miles. Meters is about the length of the distance from our nose to the tip of our finger, so in the area of a yard. A centimeter and a millimeter, which is very small. So looking on page, we are on page AP12. And as I said, we want to have an idea here. So we're looking at, circle the items that measure about, let's see, I'm looking at numbers like this. I am on page AP13. I'm sorry about that. Is that looking on down, we're looking at 2A, a woman's height. Well, we certainly aren't going to measure her the largest or the smallest, so we want to have an idea. We would measure her, we want to look at the numbers here, 168, which is pretty large, so we're going to choose centimeters. A meter would be way too large. B, measuring a man's waist, is that we would take a tape measure and we would go around, and it would be in centimeters. Looking at C, C is Louise ran 100 blank dash. So if any of you did track or cross country in high school, that, well, not cross country, but track, that would be 100 meter dash. And looking at D, a postage stamp. A postage stamp is very tiny, so we're looking at 22 millimeters wide. Okay. Now, looking at the page AP14, 3A, 3.67 meters equals how many centimeters? Is that I encourage you to use the conversion as we have. Centi means 100, so we have 100 centimeters per 1 meter. Out goes the meters, in comes the centimeters. We have 3.67 times 100 is 367 centimeters. Looking at C, 432.7 centimeters equals how many meters? We're going from units that are smaller to units that are larger. 432.7, out go the centimeters, in come the meters. Centi means 100. The word centimeters cancel. I now have 432.7 over 100. I have 2 zeros here, so I'm going to move my decimal point 2 places to the left, and I have 4.327. E, 0.9 meters equals how many millimeters? So out go the meters, in come the millimeters. Milli means 1,000. The meters cancel. I have 0.9 times 1,000. That is, I just have to move my decimal point 1 place here, and that's going to give me 900, excuse what I just said. I have 3 zeros here, so I have to move my decimal point 3 places to the right, and when I do that, I get 900 millimeters. 2.5 centimeters equals how many millimeters? 2.5 centimeters. Out go the centimeters, in come the millimeters. So once you learn how to set up your conversion, it becomes so easy. Move this 1 place, we get 25 millimeters. I'm just going to label these here. Look at page AP15. We're looking at 4A. The author wants you to get a feel for moving your decimal, multiplying by 10, dividing by 10. So we have 1 0. I'm going to move it 1 place to the right, and I have 435. Compare that to taking the same number, dividing by 10, which tells me to move it 1 place to the left, and I get 4.35. Maybe if you had written it 43.5 over 10, maybe you like that notation better, and you get 4.35. 28 divided by 100, 2 zeros. That tells me I've got to move it 2 places to the left, and I get 0.28. 0.7 times 1,000, 3 zeros. That tells me I'm going to move it 3 places to the right. 0.7, 1, 2, 3. gives me 700 there. So very easy to multiply and divide by multiples of 10. 12.008 kilometers equals how many meters? And that tells me 12.008. Out go the kilometers, in come the meters. And remember, it takes 1,000 meters to equal 1 kilometer. The kilometers cancel. 12.008 times 1,000 gives me 12,008 meters. I moved it 3 places to the right. Try, folks, to understand this, not just memorize everything. 20.7 centimeters equals how many meters? So 20.7 times 1 meter per 100 centimeters equals 0.207. I had to move this 2 places to my left. So it's very repetitious, everyone. I'm probably doing a few more examples that I normally would do because I would be having you do walk-in checks. So here I have 20.7. Out go the centimeters, in come the millimeters. It takes 10 millimeters to equal 1 centimeter. And now I have 20.7 times 10 gives me 207 millimeters. Looking at 6A, 9 meters equals how many millimeters? 9 meters. Out go the meters, in come the millimeters. 1,000. Meters cancel. 9 times 1,000 gives me 9,000 millimeters. D, 70 meters equals how many kilometers? So 70, out go the meters, in come the kilometers. It takes 1,000. Remember, kilo is 1,000. It takes 1,000 meters to equal a kilometer. The meters cancel. 70 over 1,000 tells me to move it 3 places. 070. So I don't need that 0. I can just write it 0.07 kilometers. 3 places to the left. Let's look here. Notice on page AP13 there's that measuring stick. One has centimeters and one has millimeters. So some of the questions refer to you using that measuring stick in order to measure some parts of your body on such as your hand. Basically we were measuring our hand on page 17. So what you want to do on number 9 is take your hand, put it over that, he said in centimeters, the measuring stick that was centimeters. So depending on, the questions are going to vary because we all have different size hands. Mine was about 8 centimeters. You know, yours could be anywhere from 7 to 12 centimeters. But use that measurer for sure. Okay? Looking at above number 16, the question said to have an idea. So these are actually a little bit more important than we think. kilometer, meter, centimeter, millimeter, have an idea of what unit of measure. So remember, this is very large and this is very small. The other two are in the middle. A meter is about 1 yard. Okay, so just to have an idea, I'm not giving you exact conversions at all. But looking at number 16, a bookcase, the width of a bookcase. Well, it can't be the largest or the smallest. This is about 1 yard, so that would be a pretty wide bookcase. So we're looking at centimeters. Number 18, a door. Well, the door, once again, not the largest or the smallest. This would be about 1 yard, so we're looking at meters there because he gave us the number 2, so 2 meters would be fine. And then 22, my pen, well, there's my pen here, so it could be centimeters, it could be millimeters, but we have to look at that hint he gave us. He gave us 145. So it couldn't be 145 centimeters. It has to be millimeters. Okay? Now, looking at number 40. We're looking at the measuring the wingspan of a butterfly. The wingspan is 13 millimeters, and we're looking at the smallest mouse, and the smallest mouse is 50 millimeters. Using the ruler on the previous page, draw a line that is 13 millimeters and 50 millimeters long. Then convert it to centimeters. Okay, so 13 millimeters, out go the millimeters, in come the centimeters. It takes 10 millimeters to equal 1 centimeter, and we get the butterfly is 1.3. For the mouse, same thing. Do you see how repetitious this is? The millimeters cancel. We get 50 over 10, 4 centimeters for the mouse. Let me save this. Well, let me see what's going on. We'll go into the next section, 8.3. We're looking at the metric system, and we're looking at capacity and weight. Okay? Capacity would be liquid measure. This would be liquid measure, such as a liter. You're familiar with a liter of pop. This would be weight, such as, weight is weight, such as a gram that you get in medication. So let's look. So for my weight, I have kilogram. We know that means 1,000. We have gram. We have milligrams. So this is the very smallest. That's the very largest. We need to have an idea. We need to have an idea. So let's look at let me see where I am here on A3. Is that we want to have 800 milligrams. Let me see where I am here. Is that looking on page 20 here, is that the question says pick liters or milliliters. So a milliliter would just be a small drop, and you're going to buy, I'm on page 20, so we would buy 8 liters. The nurse gave me 10, well, they're not going to make me drink 10 liters of medicine or cough syrup. So for B, that's going to be 10 milliliters of cough syrup. This 100 blank garbage can, so a garbage can, if it only holds 100 milligrams, that would, or 100 milliliters, that would be nothing. So it has to be 100 liters there. Now looking over onto page 22, please. So these were all capacity using liters. Now let's look at weight. I am on AP 22. A thumbtack hardly weighs anything, so it would be a milligram. We're choosing from kilogram, gram, and milligram. So this is very large, this is small. Gram is in the middle. Looking at B, a teenager weighs 50. Well, this is way too small, and we want to choose kilograms, okay, in the pound area. Looking at C, a cast iron frying pan weighs about 1 kilogram. E, how many, we're talking about calcium tablets, 500. Well, when you look at all your supplements, we're looking at milligrams. You want to have an idea. Have an idea. So now, looking at our conversions, we already know all of our prefixes. 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams. 1 gram equals 1,000 milligrams. Let's look at some conversions. A, 10 kilograms equals how many grams? This is on AP 23, number 6. Our conversion, are you tired of this? They all look the same. Out goes the kilograms, in come the grams. 1,000 grams per kilogram. So I have 10 times 1,000. That tells me to move my decimal point 1 place, and I have 10,000 grams. B, 45 milligrams equals how many grams? Repeat. Out go the milligrams, in come the grams. But now I have to put the 1,000 with the milligrams. Milligrams cancel. I have 45 over 1,000. It tells me to move my decimal point 3 places to the left, and I get 0.045 grams. Now remember, after I do these, you folks need to do a good share as well. Looking at C, 6.3 kilograms equals how many grams? 6.3 kilograms, out go the kilograms, in come the grams. It takes 1,000 grams to equal 1 kilogram. The kilograms cancel, and I now have 6.3 times 1,000 equals 6,300 grams. And E, 5,630 grams equals how many kilograms? 5,630 grams, 1,000 grams, bring in the kilograms. I now have 5,630 over 1,000. That tells me to move my decimal point 3 places to the left, 5.63 kilograms. I think that we have done many of these, and you should be in good shape here. Now, looking at page 24, we're on liters, which is capacity. Looking at 7b. 7b says, well, let's do 7a. 7a first. Is that paint we know is liquid, so we know we need either liters or milliliters. Well, milliliters is so tiny is that we need liters for paint. Looking at B, a bag of potato chips. Well, that doesn't weigh very much. So we're looking at weight, and that would be grams. Looking at D, we're looking at width. Width is linear. So we're looking at a length. A length would be something like meters or centimeters. So we're going to pick centimeters there. Lots and lots. Don't get on overload here. It's really quite repetitious the way the metric system is set up, but you still have to do quite a few in order for you to be, proficient at this. Looking on page AP26, we'll just pick a few out of the problem set because I think you should be in pretty good shape here. Looking at, let's just look at number 22, and the question says, is this reasonable or unreasonable? To inject a half a liter of insulin in your body each morning. Well, just think of that big container of pop, a liter of pop. Would you want a half of that shot into your body? No, that would be unreasonable. What would be? That just would be too much. Okay, so look at those, look at the answers. You'll get a good feel for what makes sense. Number 32. We want 18,000 milliliters equals how many liters? So 18,000 milliliters, out go the milliliters, in come the liters. So you just have to remember that milli means 1,000. So the milliliters cancel out. You have 18,000 over 1,000, and you get 18 liters. How are you holding up, folks? How's it going? Working with liters and milliliters again, look at 38. 11.7 liters equals how many milliliters? Out go the liters, in come the milliliters, and it takes 1,000 milliliters to equal 1 liter. The liters cancel. 11.7 times 1,000 is 11,700 milliliters. Okay? So those were capacity. Let's look at weight measure here on page AP 27, and we're looking at number 50, and we have 6.007 kilograms equals how many grams? Out go the kilograms, in come the grams. Remember, it takes 1,000 grams to equal 1 kilogram. I now have 6.007 times 1,000. Move my decimal point 3 places, and I have 6,007 grams. Class, you might want to redo some of the problems we just did, and of course you are assigned to do the odd problems. Okay? The author has stressed having an idea of length. So looking at number 56, if you have the roll has 55 watt of tape on it. If you're buying masking tape, if we're buying any kind of Scotch tape, well, we certainly aren't going to buy 55 centimeters, but we're going to buy 55 meters of tape. Okay? And 58, an onion. How much does it weigh? Well, we have a choice of kilograms, grams, milligrams. Well, it's not the highest or the smallest. It's just 200 grams. Looking at that. That brings us to A4, which we're looking at temperature conversions, and looking at A4. In our system, English temperature, what we measure in is Fahrenheit. I think all of you know these. Freezing is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. You might not know boiling, but you should have an idea now. 212 degrees Fahrenheit. We just got through winter, so I'm sure you know 32 degrees. Now, in the metric system, we have what we call Celsius or centigrade temperature, and freezing is 0 degrees Celsius, and boiling is 100 degrees Celsius. So do you see the metric system works in all these very convenient units? Very convenient. So if you go over to Canada, you want to have an idea if you're hot or cold. If we have a room temperature, perhaps you keep your house around 68 degrees, and 68 degrees is about 20 degrees Celsius. Okay? Our body temperature, of course, that varies by person. Everybody is not 98.6. I think I run closer to 97. Other people might run 99. And in Celsius, that would be 37. And what about roasting our turkey on Thanksgiving? So we would roast at 350 in our oven, and if we had a metric oven, 175. Oftentimes we have to go back and forth between Celsius and Fahrenheit. So let's look at that. Celsius to Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit equals 9/5 Celsius plus 32 degrees. Fahrenheit is Fahrenheit to Celsius is Celsius is 5/9 left paren Fahrenheit minus 32 degrees. So those parentheses are important. Both of these formulas would be given on the exam, but you need to know how to use them and you need to know which one to choose. So I have found in the past that even though these are given, if a student hasn't worked with them, that student is confused as to which formula to choose. So let's see if we can clear that up. Number one, we want to go 25 degrees Celsius equals what temperature in Fahrenheit? Okay, so we need Fahrenheit, which will be this first equation. Fahrenheit equals 9/5 Celsius plus 32. Okay, I know the C, so I had to choose this formula. I'm going to substitute this 25 in for C, and now I get F equals 9/5 25 over 1 plus 32 degrees. I have 9 times 5 plus 32 gives me 45 plus 32. Fahrenheit is 77 degrees. Okay? Or 77 degrees Fahrenheit would be a better way to write that. So remember, we were given Celsius, so I had to choose this formula. I needed Fahrenheit. You need the parentheses. I was able to reduce and then continue. So we kind of have to have an idea going back and forth. We want to know whether when we're in Canada, if they tell us it's 25 degrees, okay, do I need a jacket? Or, am I comfortable the way I am? So we'd be at 77, and all of us would be pretty happy at 77. Now let's go from 59 degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius. So now let's look at our formulas. We have Fahrenheit, so I have to pick this equation that will generate my Celsius. So Celsius equals 5/9 left paren F minus 32. So Celsius equals 5/9 59 minus 32. I will go off to the side. Remember your order of operations. We have to go inside first, and I get 27. And now I have 27 over 1. 9 into 27 goes 3 times, and I have 15 degrees Celsius. I'm going to pick numbers that are reasonable to work with. So nothing that's too difficult to deal with. Looking in our problem set here, is that I am looking at number, let's look at, oh, I see, that's multiple choice. He wants you to determine brewing coffee, a high fever, and so on. But we really need a conversion problem. So I will give you one. Let's do this one here. So this is my example. I have 95 degrees Fahrenheit equals how much Celsius? So this is what I know. I know Fahrenheit. So I must choose Celsius is 5/9 F minus 32. I'm going to take the 95, I'm going to put it in here, and I'm going to get 5/9 95 minus 32. Go off to the side. That gave me 63. Are you with me? 9 goes into 63 7 times. 5 times 7 is 35 degrees Celsius. Okay? And let's do one more. And you'll have 4 examples, 2 of each kind. You want to redo those first and then do some that are in the book. Okay, here we know Celsius, we want Fahrenheit, so this is what we want, and we have 9/5 C plus 32. 9/5 times 45 over 1. 5 goes into 45 9. So we have 81 plus 32. Fahrenheit equals 113 degrees Fahrenheit. So there we go. You have 2 of each kind to look at. At the beginning of that A4 were more conversions. These were conversions to, also we converted from US to metric, and we went from metric to US. So these are conversions that we would not memorize at all. Let's look in the book. He should be giving us the conversion table. So this is what I would have to give you on the exam, is I have to give you this table right here, and this is metric to US, and this is US to metric. Okay, it's nothing you would memorize at all. So page AP 29 table would be given. That would be given. Okay? And let's look at doing these. And this just gives us an idea of how we're going to be doing this. And he has it rounded off to the hundredths position. Okay? Nothing is carried out too far. So we're looking at AP 33, and we want to go 8 kilometers equals how many miles? So this is what I do. I put down that this is metric to remind myself, and I put down this is US. So I want to go from metric to US. So I look on my table here, and this tells me right here, metric to US units. Okay? That's why I write these words right above it, so I know to use the table on the left or the table on the right. What you're going to do is you're going to do your conversion as we've been doing. 8 kilometers, out go the kilometers, in come the miles, and it says it's 0.62 miles per 1 kilometer. kilometers cancel. You get 8 times 0.62, and you're going to get 5.0 miles. And the direction said to round to the nearest tenth, and I did that. Okay, so the part you want to decide is whether to use the left table or the right table. Let's look at this one. Number 6. 85 centimeters equals how many inches? This is metric. This is US. Okay, so once again, go back to your table. We want to go from metric to US, and we want to go centimeters to inches. 0.39. 0.39. So we're going to have 85 centimeters times in come the inches, out go the centimeters. And what we had was we have 0.39 inches per 1 centimeter. So the centimeters cancel. You have 85 times 0.39, and that should put that in your calculator, and you should get 33.2 inches. Okay, so now let's go from US to metric. Let's look at number 8. 3.2 yards equals how many meters? Okay, US to metric. That tells me I need to use the table on the right here. Can you see that on your screen? And we want to go from yards to meters. So I see 1 yard equals 0.91 meters. So 3.2 yards, out go the yards, in come the meters. And it was 0.91. The yards cancel. You get 3.2 times 0.91, and when you put that into your calculator, you should get, let's see what the answer is here, is that we should get 2.9 meters. Well, 0.91 is almost equal to 1. Yes, that makes a lot of sense. One more, and that's it. 2.5 ounces equals how many grams? This is US. This is metric. I have to choose my chart, which I said will be given to you. It will be Xeroxed, added to the exam. And I want to go from US to metric. And I want to go from ounces to grams. So 1 ounce equals 28.38 grams, the very last one. So 2.5 ounces, out go the ounces, in come the grams. 1 ounce is 28.35. The ounces cancel out. I now have 2.5 times 28.35. And that will give me, well, I'm going to double about 30 here. So, yep, I'm going to have 70.9 grams. Okay, we finished A4, and this was what we did for March 27th. It was the Wednesday. No, it would be the 25th. So Wednesday the 25th. So thank you. Have a good weekend. And do the odd problems. I will be posting the exact homework, but you know from experience it's always the odd problems. Goodbye. Work hard on these. They're not going to come without doing some work on your part.